They called him the phenomenon, and for good reason. By 23, Ronaldo Nazario had already conquered the football world. Over 200 career goals, a Ballon d'Or, and a World Cup. He was supposed to lead Brazil to glory again in 1998. Instead, he barely made it out alive. Hours before the biggest match of his life, something went horribly wrong. Yet, somehow, he stepped onto the field. What followed was one of the most shocking nights in football history. The match where Ronaldo faced his worst nightmare. The 1998 match that changed everything this night was supposed to be his crowning moment. Ronaldo was practically untouchable back in the 90 seconds, a goal machine, a dribbling wizard, the real deal, until one fateful day nearly ended it all. Ronaldo's darkest moment came on July 12, 1998, the night of the World Cup final. Going into the match, Ronaldo was unstoppable. With 4 goals and 3 assists, he was pretty much the best player in the world, carrying Brazil on his back. France was playing at home, but with El Fenomeno on the pitch, Brazil was still the favorite. They were the defending champions. The stage was set and the world was ready for Ronaldo to deliver. But what happened next is something nobody expected. Just over an hour before kickoff, the team sheet was released, and guess what? Ronaldo's name was nowhere to be found. This is where the story truly begins. A Brazil starting sheet without Ronaldo, ahead of a World Cup final. It was the most shocking moment in football that entire year. Fans couldn't believe their eyes. Experts scrambled for an explanation. Then the truth came out. Just hours before the final, Ronaldo had come face to face with death. A medical emergency had struck him down at the worst possible time, and it was the scariest thing he had ever experienced. But somehow, just minutes before kickoff, Ronaldo begged to be reinstated. He swore he was fine. So, against all odds, his name was suddenly back on the team sheet. The world let out a sigh of relief. But little did they know, they weren't getting Ronaldo they had long anticipated. Something was off about Ronaldo that day. The fire in his eyes was missing. As the players walked out of the tunnel, 75,000 fans inside the Stade de France roared in anticipation. A staggering 1.7 billion people watched from their screens, waiting for a show. The world expected magic, but what they got was a nightmare. From the very first whistle, something felt off. Right away, France took control, dictating the tempo with a confidence that stunned the Brazilians. The game was barely a minute old when Guivarc'h attempted a bicycle kick under pressure from Baiano, the ball landing on the top of the net. Just 3 minutes later, Zidane slipped him another chance, but his shot was comfortably gathered by Tafarel. France sensed weakness, and they were ready to pounce. 6 minutes in, Zidane whipped in a dangerous free kick, and Guivarc'h once again got his head to it, but the ball flew wide. Moments later, another long-range effort from the French striker sailed past the post. The warning signs were flashing bright, but Brazil had no response. They looked sluggish, uninspired, and completely out of sync. It wasn't until the 22nd minute that Ronaldo even made an appearance. Receiving the ball on the left wing, he swung in a cross shot, but Barthez, the French goalkeeper, fumbled it for a moment before quickly regaining control. It was the first real sign of life from Brazil, but it wasn't enough to shift the momentum. Then came the moment that changed everything. In the 27th minute, Emmanuel Petit delivered a pinpoint corner into the box, and Zidane, a man who had never scored a competitive goal for France, soared above everyone to send a powerful header into the back of the net. What was the score? 1-0 France. The stadium erupted. Brazil was stunned, shaken to its core. They needed an instant response, and who else would they turn to but Ronaldo? In the 35th minute, a long ball was sent forward in his direction, and as he sprinted towards it, Barthez rushed out to punch it away. Then came the collision. The moment the word held its breath at full speed, with no time to react, Ronaldo crashed to the ground. Medical staff rushed onto the pitch, the weight of the moment sinking in as fans held their breath. Seconds passed like hours. Then finally he started to stir, slowly getting back to his feet after receiving treatment. The game was back on. For a fleeting moment, it seemed Brazil would escape the first half trailing by just a single goal. But then came the dagger. Zidane came in again with another corner, another deadly header. The score was now 2-0 France. The reigning Brazilian champions trudged into the locker room at halftime, shell-shocked. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. If there was any chance of a comeback, only one man could rescue them. But that man wasn't there. What happened to Ronaldo? He looked like a shadow of himself. You see, Ronaldo had a golden opportunity early in the second half. A shot from inside the 6-yard box struck with power, but Barthez was equal to it. One thing was clear though, Ronaldo's usual sharpness was gone. Brazil refused to go down without a fight, throwing everything forward. In the 68th minute, they finally got a lifeline. Marcel Desailly, France's defensive enforcer, picked up a second yellow card. A moment later, the referee brandished the red. France was down to 10 men. You'd think the game was back on for the Brazilians, right? Not quite. The French coach immediately reacted, yanking off his striker, Djorkaeff, and sending on Patrick Vieira to reinforce the midfield. France had no plans to entertain a Brazilian miracle. They were slamming the door shut. Still, Brazil pushed. With just 8 minutes left, Christophe Dugarry had the perfect chance to end it for France. But he scuffed his shot wide. A heartbeat later, Brazil nearly had their moment of salvation, but Denilson's shot smashed against the post. So close, yet so far. Then, just when everyone thought the whistle was about to blow, came the final nail in the coffin. 3 minutes into stoppage time, Vieira slipped a perfect ball to Emmanuel Petit. One-on-one with Taffarel, Petit stayed cool, slotted it home, and sent the entire country into ecstasy. The score was 3-0. Game over. It was a goal that not only sealed the World Cup, but also marked the 1,000th goal in French national team history. That night, Paris exploded. Fireworks lit up the sky, streets overflowed with euphoric fans, and the dream had finally been realized. France, for the first time ever, was the world champion. But while the French partied, the rest of the world sat in disbelief, asking the same question over and over again. It wasn't until the Brazil coach later admitted something shocking that things finally started making sense. Throughout the entire first half, the coach considered taking Ronaldo off. Not because of tactics, but because something was seriously wrong. After the game, Ronaldo himself said something that left the world stunned. "Henry lost the World Cup, but I won another cup, my life." Sounds dramatic, right? That's because it was. More serious than anyone had imagined. When the truth came out, suddenly, everything made sense. The seizure that changed everything. One moment, he was resting, then everything went black. Ronaldo later revealed that everything seemed normal, until lunchtime. After eating with his teammates, he went back to the hotel room he shared with Roberto Carlos and lay down to rest. He thought he had slept for 10 minutes, but when he woke up, he wasn't alone. The team doctor was there. His teammates were staring at him, fear written all over their faces, because Ronaldo had just suffered a seizure. The medical team acted fast, but there was no denying the truth. He should not have played that final. Experts said it was nearly impossible for anyone to perform at an elite level within 24 hours of their first convulsive episode. The decision was made. Ronaldo was out. Brazil's official starting lineup was released without his name on it. Ronaldo wanted to play no matter what. He refused to be stopped. So Ronaldo played, and of course, it was a disaster. Brazil crumbled, France celebrated, and the world demanded answers. What followed was pure chaos. Conspiracy theories exploded, and they kept getting wilder. Rumors erupted about match fixing, about Nike pressuring Brazil to field their biggest star for commercial reasons, about something darker happening behind the scenes. The scandal got so big that Ronaldo himself had to testify before the Brazilian Congress. And I had a convulsion after lunch, in the afternoon, and I was unconscious for 3-4 minutes. It was insane, and yet through it all, one thing was undeniable. Ronaldo was fearless. Then, 4 years later, he got his revenge. Heading into the 2002 World Cup, Ronaldo had been absent from football for nearly 2 years due to a brutal knee injury. Many thought his career was finished, but he came back, he carried his team to the final, and this time, he was ready. Against Germany, he was unstoppable. He put 2 goals past Oliver Kahn, secured the Golden Boot, and won Brazil their record-breaking 5th World Cup. In 1998, he lost the World Cup. But after surviving the unthinkable, he came back stronger, fought for what was his, and won. But more than all of that, he proved something that stats can't measure: resilience, heart, the will to come back stronger, no matter how many times the world tries to count you out. What are your thoughts on the match that nearly shook Ronaldo to his core? Let us know in the comments below, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe for more.